Hello, girls. Welcome to today's class. Today, we're going to start the first unit of the writing and reading book. So, let's get started. As you can see, the name of the unit is the same, Gathering. Here, we are going to, in the reading section, we're going to read about identifying the writer's position. We're also gonna see what exactly is an argument in critical thinking. And in language development, we're gonna see synonyms, simple and progressive verb forms. And in writing section, we're gonna see formality, right? So the first exercise that we have on this unit is that you must discuss these questions with a partner. For example, we have, which social network sites do you use? How long do you spend on them each week? Do you use Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, WhatsApp? And how long do you spend on them each week? 10 hours, 20 hours, 40 hours, right? For these girls, you will have to access to the platform and you will have to make a video meeting only between yourselves. You have to do it on the platform so that I can see the evidence that you actually did this. All right. So please do it, discuss the questions, and when you finish, continue with the next page. All right. If you're done, then in the next page, we have the vocabulary preview. Here we have number the expressions in the box to match the meaning of the underlined words in the sentence below. Okay. So, for example, here we have most of the people at the party were acquaintances rather than friends. The meaning of acquaintances is uh, people you know. All right, so you're gonna write number one over here. You can guess the meaning with the context, but also you can use an online dictionary in English, obviously, so that you can help yourself. All right, so please do this exercise. Pause the video, do the exercise, and when you finish, continue. Right, if you're done, let's move on to let's check the answers of the exercise. Well, in number two, we have there is no empirical evidence that supports this idea. The phrase empirical evidence means that it is an evidence that is based on observation. All right. Then we have the people I speak to online come from diverse backgrounds. Diverse is a synonym of different. Then we have technology evolves very quickly. The verb evolves is the same as the verb develops, so that it changes with time. Then he's a narcissist who never asks about anyone else. As you can see, it is an adjective that in this case it means it refers to someone who is interested only in himself or in herself. In this case, he is a narcissist. The ties between the two families have strengthened in recent years. In this case, well, the word ties has different meanings, but in this case, it refers to connections, the connections between both families, right? Then we have adolescents, that is a very similar word in Spanish. Adolescents are often unfairly criticized for bad behavior, okay? In this case, we can see that adolescents are children who are changing into young adults, right? Then in the number 8, we have we need to nurture our young people so they become responsible adults. Nurture is a verb that means help to develop, so that we need to help young people to develop, right? So that they can be better at something. And finally, sorry, in number 9 we have, we live in a hyper-connected society these days. Hyper-connected. In this case, we're talking about uh, that we're always linked to people via technology, so that we're connected with something related to technology. Technology could be referring to the use of the internet, the use of social media, the devices like computers, cell phones, and all. And finally, we have, when I told him my bad news, he didn't show much empathy. Well, the word empathy, as you can guess, is the ability to understand how someone feels. All right, girls? Very good. And well, this is the vocabulary that we're going to be seeing here in the unit number 1 of this writing and reading section. So it's very important that you understand it. Now let's move on to the reading section that says, are online friends a threat to development? Before you read, discuss these questions with a partner. Again, you're gonna call your classmates to make a video meeting. And here we have, what are the advantages and disadvantages of young people using social networking sites? And do you think the advantages outweigh, this means that are more significant than the disadvantages? Why or why not? All right, so please pause the video, call your classmates, and when you're done, move on. If you finish discussing the questions, now let's move on to the global reading. Here we have, you're going to read an excerpt from a child psychology book by Dr. Crystal Sharp about the impact of social networking on a young person's emotional development. All right, so you're going to read uh, this article that you have in your book, but before reading, they ask us, can you guess what are the areas of impact she's going to mention? So please answer this question with your own answer. Try to guess which are the area of impact that she's going to mention, and then move on and read the lecture. All right, it is very important that you read it completely. Pause the video, take your time to read it, to understand it, and when you're done, please play the video back again. All right, now if you finish reading, we have this in the section 3. Well, first we have this that says identifying the writer's position. Remember, now in this unit, we're going to see how to identify what is the position of the person who is writing an article. Mhm. For example, first we have, when a text contains different views, it is important to identify the writer's position compared to other people's positions, all right? But how do I know who's giving the argument, all right? To identify this, well, we have to look for names of people or group of people, because if we don't pay attention to this, we may get confused and think that the person who is saying this is the writer, but in some cases it is not correct. In some cases, like here, that says Turkle also suggests that people are no longer comfortable being alone. This person is the one who is giving this argument, not necessarily the writer. All right, but how do I know if the writer agrees or disagrees with a statement? Well, first we have to take a look to identify if the writer agrees or disagrees with a viewpoint. You have to look for First, adjectives, right? These can be positive or negative adjectives. We can also use adverbs. For example, not credible, interestingly, all right? Depending of if the person is the writer is using positive adjectives, well, we can see that he's agreeing. If he's using negative adjectives, maybe he is disagreeing. Then we also have to take a look to the objective language. Sorry, it was opinion language. Yes, opinion language are words like agree, disagree, true, untrue, believe, and view. When we have these words, it's because the person, the writer, is about to give his or her opinion. And finally, we have to take a look to linking phrases. Linking phrases and signposts such as however, therefore, although, and in fact. All right. So this is how we know, this is how we can identify what's the position of the writer about a certain topic. Okay, very good. Now, in the section number 3, we have which two statements describe the writer's position on social networking? What information in the text helps you identify the position? Which of these 4 options are actually the position of the writer? For example, does the writer think that young people are losing their face-to-face friends? Or does he think that there are advantages to having online friends? Does he think that people reveal too much information online? Or does he think that social networking is changing young people's personalities? All right, so please take a look to the lecture again. You don't have to read it all, just look for the key points and try to guess what's her opinion. All right, so do it, take your time, pause the video, and in a moment I'm gonna show you the answers. Very well. Let's see. The first statement that describes her opinion is that there are advantages to having online friends. And the other advantage, sorry, and her other position is that social networking is changing young people's personalities. All right? Very good. Now, in the next page, we have critical thinking skill. What exactly is an argument? Well, here we have very clearly what an argument is. An argument is a statement of opinion, but it is supported by reasons or evidence. This is very important because without reasons or evidence, a statement is not an argument. Therefore, reasons and evidence must be identified within a text. For example, this is an argument that says friendship play an important role in our personal growth because they help us to build trust. First, we have a statement. Friendships play an important role in our personal growth. This is an opinion. But when we give a reason, because they help us to build trust to this opinion, now we are writing an argument. All right? Another example of this could be reading in English is good. This is a statement. For example, this is my opinion. I think that reading is in English is good. And if I give a reason, for example, because you improve your vocabulary, now I have an argument. Reading English is good because you improve your vocabulary. All right? So in the exercise number 1, in the exercise number 1, we have read are online friends a threat to development again, and find and underline the points below in the text. The paragraph number are in parentheses. All right. For example, in the number 1, we have the effect of new technologies on our friendships is often discussed. We have this idea, this point in the paragraph number 2. Here we have the beginning of the paragraph number 2. And here it says, the impact of technology on the nature of our friendships has been a much debated topic. As you can see, we're not using exactly the same words, but we're giving the same point, that new technology on our friendships is often discussed. has been a much debated topic. I mean, it is the same point used with other words. So you're going to underline this and you're going to do the same with the rest of the points, right? Remember that these points are in these paragraphs. Please do it, and when you finish, pause the video, and when you finish, continue with the video. All right, now let's check the answers. Well, in the first point, we have the effect of new technology on our friendship is often discussed. Well, here in the lecture, we can see that we are, oh, sorry. Now that you have finished, we're going to move on to the exercise number 2 that says match points 1 to 8 with the evidence reasons, these evidence reasons A to F. 1 point matches more than once, all right? For example, in the first point, we have the effect of new technology on our friendship if often used, which is the evidence or the reason they gave us in the lecture. Well, here in the lecture, as you can see, they're not giving us any reason or any evidence. So this is not an argument, it's just an opinion. So here in the letter D, we have no reason or evidence given, so we can write here number 1, because they're not giving us in the text any reason or evidence, all right? So you have to look in the lecture of each of these points if they're giving us a reason or evidence for these opinions. If they're not, well, then will be no reason or evidence given. But if they have, well, you just have to match this. So please do it and pause the video. And when you finish, play back the video so that you can check your answers. All right, now let's check the answers. In the exercise number 2, well, sorry, in the point number 2, we have claims that social networking causes people to lose friendships are untrue. Well, there's a reason for this, and it is because there's a study by Pew Internet and American Life Project that tells this, right? So here we have this evidence. Then number 3 says that young people can talk to a wider range of people online. Also, the Pew Internet and American Life Protection did a study telling this. But then in the in the number 4, we have that social networking can be advantageous for teenagers' emotional health. Well, this is also true because here a research by Michigan State University tells us that. All right. Then um, the number 5 says that social networking is causing young people to display different behavior. This is true because we have evidence from Larry D. Rosen, as you can see in the text. Then in number 6, it says, through technology, people can fully control their friendship. All right. In this case, there's no evidence or reason given. It is more like an opinion. Then the number 7 that says friendships in the real world are not easy to manage. Well, we have this evidence from the research by Sherry Turkle, so that we know that this is true. And finally, if we say that people do not want to be on their own anymore, it's because a university study where people did not use social media networks for a day show this. All right, very good. I hope that you could do this exercise. I know that the lecture is a little bit long, but remember that in this part of the book, well, we're going to practice a lot reading. Okay, well done. Now in the number 2, we have which 2 points 1 to 8 in exercise 1 are not arguments. Why? So all of these are arguments except for 2. That's right. Number 1 and 6, they are not arguments. Why not? Well, because as you remember, without reasons or evidence, a statement is not an argument. So so the statements 1 and 6 are just statements, are just opinions, but they are not supported by any reason or an argument, therefore they are not arguments. All right? Well done. All right. So in order to finish today's class, you're gonna discuss these questions in a group. All right. This is gonna be the last of today, the last exercise of today. So please open the Teams platform and start a video meeting with your classmates and discuss these questions. When you finish, well, that's gonna be it for today. Thank you for your attention, students, and see you in the next class. Goodbye.